Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy, Scotty Smooth, and in today's video, we're going to be jumping into the best Call of Duty Warzone Season 4 controller settings. Also, I'm going to be giving you guys some of the best settings that you do need to have in Warzone to make sure that you're getting the best optimization of the game, the best frames, and the best visual settings as well. We're not going to dive too much into that, but I'm just going to cover the main things that you guys definitely need to have that do make a big difference in your game. So, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Some of you may know I've been on the controller kick lately. I've typically played keyboard mouse and decided to jump back into controller, and it's been pretty good so far. I've been enjoying it, and it's definitely been a change from keyboard and mouse, but while we're going into controller and running that, I figured I can give you guys the best controller settings. We are on the road to 1K subs, so if you do enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up. Sub to the channel if you like the content. Also, what are your thoughts on Season 4? Let me know in the comments below what you think. How is it so far? You know, it's okay. We got some pretty decent new guns in there. We got some potential metas that, of course, we'll be talking about in another video, but it's pretty solid. It's a nice little change. I just want to know what you guys think. Let me know below. Of course, thank you guys so much for stopping by, and as always, hope this video makes your day a little bit better. Let's jump into the settings, baby. Peace! Alright, so of course, since this is a controller settings video, we're going to just talk about the controller settings first. I will jump into some of the big settings that you do need to make sure you have for Warzone, so we'll talk about that. I know Season 4 may have reset some stuff for you guys, so we're going to jump into some of the main things that you guys want to make sure you have, but of course, since this is a controller settings video, we're going to spend most of the time here in the controller settings. So, starting off the top, the BR button layout. Typically, this really depends on how you want to play. I play default. Some players play tactical, and a lot of times with tactical they use that because they slide cancel with the stick using crouch. And if you guys don't know how to slide cancel or kind of what I mean by that, I'll put a video up here on how to slide cancel. So that'll make more sense if you guys check that out. If you don't really know why people play as tactical, then check that video out. It'll show you why players use tactical. I use default because on my controller here, I'll show you, I got the little paddles on the back. So I don't need to click in the stick to crouch because I can just use the back paddles. Next, the stick layout preset. Of course, I have it to default. I feel like default, pretty much everyone plays default. Inverted look, same. More likely than not, you're not going to be on invert look, but there again are some players that use vertical or invert look. So it's really your preference, really up to you, but more likely than not, you're going to have this as disabled. Now, the dead zone, this basically is going to be how fast your aim is with your stick. So if you're dead zone, the lower the dead zone, the more precise your aim's gonna be and the less stick drift you're gonna have. Now, typically the sweet spot is 0.10. I've seen some people use 0.8 as well, or 0.08, I guess, not 0.8, 0.08 in the dead zone, so you can do that, but I recommend, if you don't really know too much about this, I would recommend starting with 0.10, get the feel of that. If you do notice that there is some stick drift, then you could turn that down a little bit to 0.08 or something like that, so that'll be good to go there. Horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity, I have it on 6. I feel like most players have it on 6. Some even go down to 5 as well, so if you're new to controller, if you're not locking on as well, I would recommend bumping that down to 5, but I believe 5 and 6 is kind of the sweet spot, so definitely try out 5, but I definitely recommend 6 in this case. Now, the ADS sensitivity multiplier, of course, when we're in low zoom, when we're close quarters, I like to be able to lock on a little bit more, and these are the two that I have. I have my low zoom on 0.85 sensitivity, and then the high zoom on 1. Again, really personal preference, but I would definitely run this. I know, again, there are some people that do 0.80 for both low zoom and high zoom, 0.85 for both as well. Definitely up to you, but this is what I found was my kind of the sweet spot in playing. So 0.85 low zoom, 1 high zoom. Now the aim response curve type, you definitely need standard in this case. Some players have thrown it on dynamic, and I've actually spoke with some players. They mentioned that they try dynamic and then they go back to standard and don't realize that there's such a big difference, and standards help them a lot. So if you are on dynamic, definitely change that to standard. Give that a shot. Again, you can use dynamic if you really want to. I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but standard's probably going to get you the best response there. Controller vibration, up to you. I have it disabled, so you're good there. Now the aim assist, of course, with this case as well, you're going to want standard aim assist. You don't want precision or focusing. It's just going to throw you off. Trust me, you guys want to do standard, so just do standard. Scale aim assist with FOV. Enable that, especially if your FOV is changed. I play on PC. Mine's, I think, 115. We'll talk about that later. But if you are on PC or even console, I recommend just having this enabled. Weapon mount activation, ADS melee, whatever, doesn't really matter there. Enabled for the movement exit. It's fine there. Of course, aim downside behavior hold, equipment behavior hold. Pretty self-explanatory there. This one is actually a really important one, especially in Warzone when you're going to be picking up loot, stuff like that. So with the use reload behavior, you're going to want to make sure it's on contextual tap. That way when you're reloading, you could just hit the square button or the X button. That definitely is going to make it a lot easier to pick up stuff, to reload. So contextual tap, you need that. Depleted ammo switch. I mean, this doesn't really make a huge difference. Basically, it's when you're completely out of ammo, it's going to auto switch the gun for you. I just have it as disabled. No biggie there. Now the armor plate behavior, apply all. Most players I've seen do apply all. Of course, some do apply one if you wanted to do it that way instead. But by applying all, you could just hit the triangle or the Y button or whatever button you have set up to plate up just one time, and then your guy or gal will plate up all 3 plates if you're all the way down to no plates. So I do apply all. It makes it a lot easier. Slide behavior, you definitely want tap, especially if you're going to be slide canceling. Tap is huge. It's just going to make it a lot easier. It's going to make the movement a lot easier. So slide behavior, you want that on tap 100%. Auto move forward. Don't use this. You don't need it. You're going to be using the stick anyway, so there's no point to use that. Now, the auto tact sprint, I highly recommend this. Now, if you guys don't have the auto tact sprint on, definitely give it a shot. Basically, what that's going to do, let me get my hand cam here. It's going to allow you to just move up on the stick without clicking it in to tactical sprint. Now, if you guys know what tactical sprint is, it's where your guy, if you don't know you're in tactical sprint, your gun's gonna go up like this when you're running, right? So you're gonna be running like this, and then your guy kind of stops and then brings the gun down and keeps running. So tactical sprint's gonna get you the fastest movement speed in Warzone. So by just moving the stick up, your guy's gonna jump into auto tac sprint and move a lot quicker. So have auto tac sprint on. You don't have to click the stick. You don't have to double click the stick to auto tax or to tactical sprint or anything, so definitely have that on. And then the vehicle camera recenter, just enable that. Now the parachute auto deploy, I had this on disabled, and I'll tell you why. Because when you're dropping hot, let's say you're dropping Superstore or you're in Rebirth Island and you're dropping all on prison or whatever it is, you can actually land faster and get to the ground faster by pulling your chute just a little bit before you hit the ground. Of course, this is you got to be very precise with it because you don't want to splat on the ground, right? But it does allow you to get closer to your drop and get you the loot quicker than everyone else that's dropping in on the same spot. So I have this as disabled because I want to make sure that I'm hitting that ground, I'm hitting the loot quicker than these other players that are dropping on the same loot. So that's going to be the controller settings. Now I'm just going to go over a couple other settings to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of the Warzone FPS, graphics, stuff like that. Just cover a couple important things that you really need to do here. So just briefly going through the general field of view, I have it at 115. A lot of players do throw it on 120 and max it out, but I found 115 is the sweet spot for me. And you guys can copy this. I'm not going to go through everything here. I know that the colorblind type, deuteranopia. I don't know what that's. I don't know how to say that. It does help. So up to you guys if you want to change that up and give that a shot. If you're having trouble seeing players, do that. A big one I do want to share is the mini map shape. You can see here that we have two options. Of course, we have the round or the square, but by looking at the two options, the round over there does not show as much as the square. So make sure that this mini map shape is set to square, because you're going to be able to see a lot more surrounding area than you would with the round. So do that. Square. Enabled. Yeah, you could just copy that if you want there. And then that's pretty much it for the general. We'll jump into the graphics. Now, some of the big things with the graphics, the full screen display mode. This is going to help your FPS just skyrocket. Trust me, guys. If you don't have it on full screen, change it to full screen right now. Please, change it to full screen. You need full screen. Next, refresh rate. Yeah, you can max that out. I'm not going to go over too much. Now, the render resolution, this one is huge because there's an issue with Warzone where it'll automatically set your render resolution all the way down back to 66, I believe is the lowest it can get. And what that does is it actually causes a little pixelated line, more likely than not, at the bottom of the screen. If you guys checked out the slide cancel video, the whole video, I had this freaking pixelated line at the bottom, and it's like flashing, and it's very annoying. But anyway, changing the render resolution to 100 is going to fix that and get rid of that pixelated line, whether it's on the bottom, the right, the top, whatever. Change it to 100. You want it at 100. Next, frame rate. Of course, you want the highest frames. Max out the frame rate there. You don't want NVIDIA highlights on. You don't need that. Now, I'm just going to scroll through these. You guys can check it out if you want. Now, my PC is not like the most powerful PC, and I can stream while playing Warzone perfectly fine. So again, you guys can copy these if you want. I'll slowly scroll down through them, and feel free to do this if you really want to do it. It's pretty much some of the lowest settings, but there are some normal settings in there as well that will still make your game look good but get you the best frames. So copy that if you need to. Last but not least, we're jumping into the audio. I have mine set to boost high. Some players throw it on boost low for footsteps, but I honestly believe boost high is the best way for footsteps. So throw it on boost high. If you are having trouble hearing, then you could throw it on boost low. No big deal there. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. And I'll scroll down here again if you guys do want to copy this. The settings, the volume, up to you, personal preference there. Now, for those that have stuck around, I do appreciate you, and I want to give you a little bit of an extra oomph in this video. We're going to jump into the NVIDIA graphic filters, or the NVIDIA game filters for Warzone. The best ones that I've seen work just absolutely amazing. I mean, you could actually see players. Now, the sun glare is still an issue. That's always going to be an issue until they finally like fix it on their side, but this will help get you the best visibility in Warzone. So we're gonna jump into the game filters now. You can hit, of course, if you do have an NVIDIA graphics card and you have the GeForce Experience downloaded, you can get this feature, and you are able to do that and get these filters going. So what you could do, if you do again have that, if you hit Alt-Z, and you're on PC, so console players, I do apologize. This is only going to be for PC. But if you hit Alt-Z, you can see that there's the game filter option. Just click there. Or you could also hit Alt-F3, and it's going to pull up the game filters here for you. So we're going to jump into the best game filters here, and make sure you guys can see players. So the graphics settings that we're running, on the left-hand side, you do want to make sure that you have these in order, all right? So we have details, brightness, contrast, color, in that order. If it's not in that order, put it in that order. Details, we have sharpen 50%, clarity 65, HDR toning 49, and then bloom 0. Now these, I've seen a lot of players use, and I've probably gotten the best response and the best visual settings from these filters, so you guys can adjust these however you'd like, but I recommend just to do this one because just do it. Jeez. And the brightness contrast, we got exposure 0, contrast 25, highlights 5%, shadows negative 46, and then the gamma is 0. Lastly, we got color, tint color 10%, tint intensity. Wait, what did he say? Tint intensity 10%, temperature negative 5.5, and then the vibrance is 82.9. Check this out, all right? I know I'm not in a game, but let's do this. Filters off. Whew. Oh my God. Terrible. Filters on. Wow. Beautiful. We're trying to get beautiful, everybody. Thanks again, guys, for stopping by. And if this helped you out, help me out. And, of course, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.